Hi, welcome to the Knits and Beads podcast. I'm Lorelei, your host. I live in upstate New York and I'm a jewelry designer by day and a knitter by night. Thank you for stopping by my podcast where I talk mostly about knitting, and actually I've been thinking about possibly changing my podcast name. I think that people read Knits and Beads and think I spend a lot of time talking about beads or beading or jewelry, and that's not the case. I mostly wanted to start this podcast to talk about my knitting projects, but it felt a little weird to only talk about knitting and not mention jewelry, since that's kind of my full-time gig. But I feel like the name in and of itself might deter people from checking it out, just because Knits and Beads kind of paints a different picture than what it is in actuality. So I haven't even started to think about a new name yet, but it'll probably be something really silly and simple like Lorelei Knits or the like. I don't know. If you have any great suggestions, please go ahead and leave a comment. I try to do show notes for my episodes in the description box down below, and then also over at Ravelry, where I have a Knits and Beads podcast group. Sometimes I don't remember to put it over there, but at least it'll be down below and everything should be right there, although probably not linked, but you can do a little Google search if you want to look something specific up. You can do that. And of course, if you have any questions, you can contact me on Ravelry or on Instagram. My username is Lorelei Eurto. My Etsy store is loreleiurtojewelry.etsy.com. I have a website, loreleiurto.com. I'm on Facebook as Lorelei Hill Eurto, and I also have a business page on Facebook, Lorelei Eurto Jewelry, in case you're interested in looking me up on the interwebs. So today is Thursday. The week got away from me. September, not sure what day it is, but I do know it's Thursday because my husband has golf tonight, so it's fend for yourself for dinner night, and that's exciting because my husband has been on a low-carb weight loss journey that I've been kind of forced into, so you can bet my dinner tonight is going to have some sort of carbohydrates in it. So, anyway, let's get right into talking about what I'm here to talk about, which is knitting. I don't have any finished objects for you today, unfortunately, but I am working diligently on some things, so I thought I would show you those real quick. This isn't going to be a long episode because my computer hates me when I do a longer than 30-minute episode. In my little Jenna Rose handmade bucket bag, I am keeping my Stephen West Vertices Unite, and I haven't gotten very far. This is the same wedge that I was working on the last time I podcasted, but I'm not working on it as diligently as I am my Camp Wilkerson shawl, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this is section 1, as you know. This yarn is Dreamin' Color, classy with Cashmere, I believe. The color is Kiss Me Kate. It's a nice variegated rainbow color. Lots of kitten distractions today. That's always fun. And they were being so good lately. So, to show you the idea of this shawl, here's what it looks like. So I'm on this section here. I don't know the exact placement that I'm going to put my colors yet, but I know I talked about this in a previous episode, but I'll just show the colors real quick. I've got this Kelp from Nice and Knit. I've got Yoth Yarns and Black Pepper. Yoth Yarns and Sea Salt. This is Plucky Knitter, Macaron. This is Sweet Georgia, Cashluxe Fine and Raspberry. And my Mad Tosh Sock and Flycatcher Blue. So those are going to go in there eventually. This is not really a long knit. I mean, the rows are nice and short. It's not too difficult. There's an increased row every couple of rows. But like I said, I'm working on my other project a little bit more than this one. And when I need a break from all that DK weight, it's actually a little chunkier than DK, I think, I switched to this. So we have a kitten in here now who's looking for trouble. So I apologize if this is a choppy video. Thank God for editing. So that is whip number 1. Whip number 2 is my Camp Wilkerson shawl by Boyland Knits. The designer's name is Caitlin, and I forget her last name. But had a bit of a mishap yesterday. Let me tell you the story here. So first of all, I'll show you the picture of the shawl so you can see what it will look like when it is finished. There it is. I chose the same colors, but not the same yarn. That being said. And this is living in my Mrs. Brown's bags with the Gashley's cats. I've come a long way on this. I'm excited to show you. However, all right, I'll just show you. So here we are so far. I'm on the second stockinette striped section, and then it will go back into the yellow and end with this kind of shape on this end. So I'm not too far away from the end, which is exciting because I can't wait to wear this for the fall. So I'm knitting along through the eyelet section, and Caitlin says in the pattern that she kind of chose she kind of designed it so that each of the colors uses up a full skein of yarn. This ended up being not enough yarn. I stopped knitting about 3 rows short of what I was supposed to do for the eyelet section because I just didn't think I had enough. And that was with a skein of 230 yards. So didn't even think about it. I thought, meh, whatever, it's not gonna make a big difference. I'm just gonna keep going. So I got about here and I realized that that light gray Plucky Knitter was running out. So yesterday I emailed Caitlin and I said, do you have any words of advice or wisdom? Because I think I'm running out of this yarn and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so she asked me what the yardage was on the skein, and I said 200 yards. And she's like, oh no, you're supposed to have 230 to 250 yards per skein. And I said, you might want to change the pattern, because I showed her where it says you need approximately 200 yards per color. Not true. So she was very, very apologetic. She very quickly put up an edited version of the pattern and let all the people know that have bought the pattern. So I'll be sure to also include all this info in my show notes for anyone that wants to use, you know, maybe these yarns. I don't know, maybe they want to, maybe they don't want to, whatever, but so I said to her, I don't know what I'll do, but I'm gonna put out a call on Ravelry and see if anybody has one that they want to give up. Come to find out, this Plucky Knitter, it's actually worsted. Now, don't let that scare you. I know it's a DK weight yarn shawl, but it's the very same weight as these other DKs. This is Quince & Company Phoebe. This is Nice and Knit DK. They all knit up at the same gauge. They're all the same size and same weight. But this color is called Wintry Mix, and the Primo worsted on Ravelry, like in D-Stash. Not one person wants to give it up. Not one. It's in their stashes and that's it. Like, they're not. And a lot of people only have one skein, which kind of is strange. So I don't know the etiquette on Ravelry. Like, is it wrong to see that and go and email them and say, would you be willing to sell your skein? Or if someone has multiple skeins, would you be willing to give one up? Like, but I didn't do that. So anyway, I went to the Ravelry group for Plucky Knitter, and there is an in search of thread on there. So I went ahead and put my in search of reply and said what I was looking for. And I cannot believe the miracle that happened. But last night before I went to bed, I got an email from someone who had a skein willing to sell me. So yay! That means I'm going to be able to finish this beautiful, beautiful wrap. And I'm so very excited because it is one of the most gorgeous things I've ever knit. Like, seriously, love it. Love everything about it. The yarn is so nice and warm. Sitting on the couch, this is going to be wonderful, draped on my shoulders if it's chilly. These cats. So crisis averted. Thank goodness. Because how sad would I have been? And you know, Caitlin said, you could just keep knitting with the yarn you have left and then, you know, make these garter stripes. I don't know. She had suggestions of kind of winging it or kind of revamping the pattern somehow. I just didn't want to do that because I just love the pattern like it is, and I'm not good at doing that. And also, I just felt like it was going to be really obvious, you know? So I'm excited. That woman shipped that yarn already today, and I should have it in a few days, so I will be able to get back to this because at this point I'm at the point where I need it. I did this dark gray stripe this morning, so I love it. It's fantastic. It's really soft too. Oh, I just love wool so much. Do you feel that way too about wool? It's amazing. So that's that. The other exciting news I have, all right, first of all, let me preface this by saying there has been no yarn bought for said sweater that I was hoping to start. I'm not completely sold on the yarn that I want to use or the pattern, so I'm going to just hold off. But another reason why that's happening is because I have 4 words for you. Stephen West Mystery Cal. Yes. This girl's doing it. Never done a Mystery Cal. Pretty excited to do it. If you want to do it with me, you should get on it. First clue comes out October 7th. I bought the pattern and I got all the little bits and bobs, the instructions on how to choose yarn, and I'm part of the Ravelry group, and that's been great to read and see the colors that people are picking out. So initially I had chosen colors, sorry for these sunspots, it's really sunny out today, and I just couldn't find another spot I wanted to do this in. I initially found some, alright, so the Mystery Cal calls for, I'm not going to give a lot away here, but it's basically a sport weight. So I found a heavy fingering weight from, and it needs 4 colors. Heavy fingering weight from Miss Babs. If I had gone ahead and purchased those 4 skeins, the colors were gorgeous, by the way, I would have spent $140. Can't do it. Can't do it. Wanted to bad. Came close to just biting the bullet and buying the yarn. But what if I don't like the shawl when I'm done knitting it? Or what if, one of the things I noticed about Miss Babs is when I went on Ravelry and looked at this variegated version that I was looking at buying, looked so different in everybody's stash. Like, I just feel like the colors aren't really very true to what I was seeing on the website. So I thought, what if I get it and I picked out all these colors to go with it and they don't go with it? So way too risky. I squashed that dream and went diving in my stash because, hello, why not? I have tons of yarn. Tons of yarn. Yarn everywhere. Hidden in all sorts of places. So here's what I came up with. Ow. And I even knitted a swatch, you guys. A swatch. I've never knit a swatch, but I did. So here are the 4 colors I chose. This beauty is called, shoot. What is this called? Watered Silk. It's Manos del Uruguay Fino. So it is extra fine merino and silk. And it's 490 yards. And it's a beautiful aqua green color. Jingo, don't be naughty. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. The other single I chose was this, this was one of the very first skeins of Tosh, Madeline Tosh that I've ever bought. And it's been in my stash for well over a year and a half. This is the Chicory color. This is Madeline Tosh Merino Light. And it's got beautiful brown and teals in it. Then I found, you know, you need a kind of a pop of color. So I chose this. And the color is looking a little bit dark here, but it's kind of a muted, like red clay color. The color is actually called Suede. And I bought this on a recent trip to see my sister in Mystic, Connecticut. This was from the Mystic Yarns shop there, their yarn store, local yarn store. Cute little store. It is hand dyed and the company is called Other Kingdoms. Oh my gosh, the cats are being so naughty right now. Monkey, relax. It's a superwash merino nylon. It's a fingering weight though. So I'm hoping, I don't know, we'll see. And then the 4th color is this. This is Madeline Tosh Eurto Sock. So it's kind of got a white base, like a creamy white base, and it has black and brown and teal speckles. So the color is something called Abiquiu. I don't know how to say it, or what is Eurto sock? So I'll show you my swatch. It's still on the needle. I don't know why I didn't take it off the needle or cast off the dang thing, but I didn't. It's still on the needle with all of its threads hanging. So here it is. The reason I did the swatch is because not only to check the gauge, and the gauge actually is right on. I'm using size 4. But I wanted to see how the colors looked when they were all knitted up together, and I really love it. Isn't that nice? So soft. I like the fabric. So, keep watching this space and you will see some progress on that come October. Very excited. And I'm keeping this in a little bag I just made yesterday. I found a cute little tutorial on a blog online for a bucket tote or a bucket bag. Didn't have handles, but I added some handles. And I lined it in some of this cool gray and white. And the it folds down nice to create a nice little bucket. It's actually pretty big too. I find that I really like this style knitting project bag because I can keep it on the couch next to me where I normally do a lot of my knitting, and but it's portable because it has handles, but I can kind of get stuff in and out of it easily. I can put my knitted piece in it without having to deal with the zipper and yeah, so this is definitely my style knitting bag. Now I actually did this one first, but in this one I used a fleecy interfacing and it won't stand up on its own. It just flops right down, but it's the same colors. And I filled it up with leftover yarn. Oh my goodness gracious, cats. It's a good one for the cats. It's a good, annoying episode with cats. So yeah, filled it up with yarn. Lots of great yarn. How pretty. Leftovers from other projects I've done the last year and a half, and definitely usable for projects. So once it's full of yarn, it stands up nice. Look at that. Big. So okay, that's that. Now I do have a couple of other things I want to talk about. I'm at 20 minutes. That's good. So yesterday I went to Joann Fabrics to get some interfacing that I had run out of, and every once in a while I'll go through and look at the clearance, and I found this. Now it's not going to look like much on the camera. It has a little bit of a pretty texture on it, but it's a nice thick, oh my gosh, it is thick. This feels like suede. Now the reason I bought this is because I had a conversation with my 4th grade teacher yesterday on Facebook, because we are friends, and Debbie Collier was telling me that she was reading a book and she came across this cute pattern for a dop kit, which you've probably all seen, with the top zipper and it's kind of a boxy shaped bag. Well, I have a vision that I want to make that because I can't get my hands on beautiful wool, felted wool fabric or whatever it was that they used in that pattern. I thought this would have a nice solidness to it, and I wouldn't have to use a lot of interfacing for it. Anyway, I'm thinking dop kit with this on the exterior and then pretty little insides with print, you know, like quilting cottons on the inside. So it looks all nice and classic, but then you get a little pop of color and fun on the inside. Great for men or women. I don't know, but I got like a boatload of it. I don't know how many I thought I was going to make, but I bought a boatload of it, and so we'll see. I may play around with that at some point and see what one will come out like. So that's a future plan for sewing. And then, oh yeah, I wanted to show you, hang on. I bought this yarn last year after I went to Rhinebeck and saw the O Wool booth. And I actually didn't buy anything from O Wool that day, but I made sure to check out their website once I had gotten home. And I found a pattern on their website that I kind of liked. It's like a rectangular wrap, nothing really major or fancy. Uses, I think, 4 colors or so. And I ended up ordering this O Wool local. This particular one is Juneberry. I picked kind of berry tones. It contains 50% certified organic merino, 50% alpaca from farms in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It's 240 yards a skein. Made in the USA, baby. So there's like little bits of stuff in here. It's great. It's a really nice and rustic kind of wool. It's like a single ply. And that's a better representation of the color there. And I bought, like I said, 4 skeins. This is another one. But now I don't know if I want to make that particular pattern. So I was wondering, I thought I'd show this, and if you have any ideas, let me know. This is Purple Loose Strife. Loose Strife. I don't know. This one is Bee Balm. And this one is Alum Root. So pretty together. So it's approximately 200, 486 or so yards, 600 yards or so. Got any ideas for this? Because I am dying to knit with something woolly, like really kind of, And these are some of my favorite colors right now. I just love purple and magenta. So awesome. So if you have never checked out O Wool, it's very affordable, much like Quince and Company. And they have some really interesting bases too. Like there's one called Balance, I believe, and it's kind of got it's a cotton and wool blend that looks really cool and kind of tweedy. And then they have, you know, the regular superwash fingering weight, which I have a couple of skeins of that too that I haven't been able to figure out what to do with quite yet. But definitely check out their website, owool.com. I think it's o-wool.com. They're also on Etsy, so if you like shopping on Etsy or feel better about shopping on Etsy, you can shop there too. They have all of their bases and colors available there. The other thing I've been thinking about is just some dream knitting. I want to do the State Line, which is a Plucky Knitter pattern. It's kind of a long crescent-shaped shawl, 3 colors. Sarah, I think she's the dyer, or one of the founding members of Plucky Knitter, showed on her Instagram a version that she was knitting that was so beautiful. Like the middle section was one of their one of a kind or limited edition speckled yarns, and she had paired it with like a gray and a light green, and it was just so pretty. Well, I want to do it in a tweed, and I found a yarn that I fell in love with. The colors are so amazing. I think it's a New Zealand yarn. It's called, it's put out by Skasel Yarns or Knitting, Skasel. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. I'm probably not. But it's haiku, and the yarn is a worsted weight, and it's called Kenzie. And they have some beautiful colors, and it's really not bad. Each ball I think is 50 grams, and it runs about 10 bucks a ball. So eventually would like to buy that, and I don't know if I want to do 2 solid colors of that and then a speckled, kind of like Sarah did with hers, or if I want to just choose 3 colors and do them. It's to be decided. So I guess that's all I have to talk about. Cassius, no. No. Cassius, no. No. Stop it. I guess that's all I want to talk about at this point. Thank you so much for coming over and checking out my podcast. I hope that it was interesting or semi-interesting to see the things I'm working on at the moment. Just a recap of the show I just did this past weekend. I sold jewelry at the Harvest Festival in Sharon Springs. This is like my 5th or 6th year doing that show. It was successful. Very successful. I got lots of really nice compliments. I sold a couple project bags, which was kind of fun, knitting related. I didn't sell any of my jewelry rolls, unfortunately, but I'm glad I didn't make like a boatload of them. I had, a good 6 or 7 to show, so I may take those to a local store to see if I can sell them around here with a little extra help. My booth setup went very smoothly. My husband helped me with the tent. That was great. The weather turned out fantastic. Saturday was beautiful. Lots of people came down to the show. Thousands and thousands of people. Sunday they were saying rain. A week ago they were saying like 80% chance of rain, and then it dropped down to 50% chance of rain, but we didn't get a drop of rain. It rained the whole drive there. It's about an hour from me, and I drove in the rain the whole time, and I was so bummed because I thought everything's going to be soaking wet when I get to my tent, and I just don't feel like dealing. But once I got to Sharon Springs, it had totally stopped raining. Everything remained dry in my tent, surprisingly. I was smart enough to buy an extra tarp for over the top of my tent because my tent is not waterproof. The tarp absolutely helped. I was smart enough not to put my tablecloths on my tables and have them hanging to the floor, to the ground. I actually had them up off the ground about 6 inches, so nothing got wet. It was great. Sunday was a lot deader. I knit all day, basically. It was great. I had some customers, but compared to Saturday, nowhere near the amount of traffic or sales. So that was kind of a bummer, but that's usually how it goes on Sundays there. So I wasn't surprised. So all in all, a good weekend. Great to have a little extra money, and I think the next show, I'm not even going to do another show this year. I'm going to do my open house the weekend before Thanksgiving. So that's kind of when I cook a bunch of stuff, and I kind of put my jewelry on display in my living room, dining room area. And people stop in throughout the day, and Joe has fire in the fireplace, and it's nice ambiance, and it's great to like chat with friends and co-workers that I used to work with, or people that Joe works with usually stop by. I don't actually like advertise it other than on Facebook, so if you follow me there and you're in the New York area, you're more than welcome to come. Follow me on Facebook, and I will put all the details once I get my invitations done. But that's it. That's all. 32 minutes in. Great. Anyway, thanks for coming by, and sorry it was kind of scattered and choppy with all of the breaks because the cats, they're naughty. And I hope to be back and talk to you again in a week or two. So have a good day. See you on the flip side.